Hello my friends, in this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different, moving away from the traveler's notebook itself and looking into what I keep in my minimalist, aesthetic, luxury pen case. I only use a few things day to day, and I feel like I end up functioning so much better when I'm only using a couple tools. So let's get started. I may or may not end up kind of showing you this weekly plan as I go, just to give you a little bit of a demonstration of how these tools work. So excuse me if I splice things in and out of this. I'm just gonna put this to the side. So this is the Yuruliku flat tool pen case. This is not the one that holds the 3 pens. I wanted the one that was for kind of any number of pens, because I don't like the way that pen holders tend to work if it has individual pen loops for each pen. I wanted the freedom to be able to stuff as much in here as I wanted to, or as little as I wanted to. So I chose this case. This is the beige version. They also have a brown version, which my husband actually has for his Leuchtturm. It holds his Leuchtturm and a few pens and maybe a couple extra field notes notebooks. Really cool. So it was nice to order that. It did come straight from Japan, so shipping is a little bit higher than you would expect to buy something domestically. I know there are also a couple other shops where you can get the Yuruliku products when they have them in stock that ship domestically within the US, and if I can find it, I will put it in the description for the link. But anyway, I do super love this pen case. It's just very natural and has that kind of just weathered feel as soon as you get it, but it's so high quality. It's made out of canvas front and back, and if you didn't notice before, it is the same size, which is really great. Super high quality zipper, which is nice experience to be able to do that without a plastic zipper. This is just your really high quality zipper. So let me move the traveler's notebook to the side again. I will do my best to stay in frame this whole video, and I apologize for last video, that was kind of rough. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Like I said before, it has a fully kind of adjustable insert for pens or pencils or whatever you want to use, and I really like how I can stuff just a couple things in here, or if I wanted to keep a few extra colored pencils in here, I could absolutely do that. But let me go through the other stuff before I get into the pens. So over here, I keep just a permanent glue stick, nothing fancy, as well as a Blackwing eraser. I really like this because it has the metal holder, and also because there's a lot of good attention to detail here in terms of the design. So when the eraser gets smaller, you can actually adjust where this clip holds the eraser. That way you're not wasting any or having to push the eraser up manually. It will just hold it in there really nice and strong, so you always have the ideal amount of eraser there. Plus the refills are reasonable too. Moving along, I have some post-it notes for book annotations. However, I am moving over to brass clips because I do like the reusable aspect of brass clips, where these tend to end up in the recycling bin. I also keep this masking tape book in here. I don't use a ton of washi tape in my layouts just because I tend to get overwhelmed by stuff like that. But whenever I do need washi tape for sealing an envelope or just adding decorations because I feel like I need to, this is a really nice way to have a bunch of options without having to carry a bunch of rolls of washi tape. And these are the scissors that I use for this, as well as other ephemera to put into my traveler's notebook. These scissors are by Allex, and I think the company is actually called something else, but I will make sure to link everything below. I also keep a pencil sharpener in here, and typically what I will do is just sharpen my pencil at a coffee shop. Like if I'm not at home, I'll sharpen it at a coffee shop and put the scraps of wood, etc., on the coffee mug rim, like on the plate below it. it's called a saucer, guys. I know that. I just couldn't think of it in the moment. But yeah, it makes it really nice to be able to use a wood pencil and a sharpener and just have these kind of tucked in here. The pencil of choice I use is the Blackwing. I got these from my husband as a sample gift. It was a sampler of 4 pencils from Blackwing, and these are kind of the staple for artists and people who love pencils. They are just super high quality. I really love how they draw. When I use pencil, it's either to do trackers, because I was so tired of messing up lines drawn in trackers, or trying to use my fountain pen and then smudging the ink or something like that. So I use it for that, and I also use it for sketches before I ink my design. So really nice to have this here in my collection. The one thing I will say is that I would love to eventually get another mechanical pencil. I just really want to stay away from a mechanical pencil that uses plastic parts. Pencils are sustainable in and of themselves, which is awesome. And I've had this and have been using this for a few months now, and it's still super long, and there's a lot of life left in this. Next, moving on to the ever so wonderful Tom's Studio pens. I was in a stationery shop called Of Aspen. You might have heard of it. They do most of their business online, but I'm lucky enough to be right near their brick and mortar in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. I found this pen there and fell in love with the idea so fast, because all of their pens are refillable, and therefore you're going to end up saving the environment by cutting down on plastic pen single-use pens. And also because just the high quality of the design and the functionality of this. So the Tom Studio pens can really replace all of your fine liners and even your brush tip pens. And there's so many different ink colors. You can see I have like a 0.1 fine liner on this side and like a brush tip on this side. Really cool. You can kind of just swap things around, have a really nice experience with this. Oh, I guess you can't really swap it around, but this is an aluminum body. It's kind of like a rose gold color. You can also swap these out for, I think it comes with 13 nibs total. So just really, really cool, and use any type of fountain pen ink in here. And the way that these pens work is that they have a cotton core here that absorbs the ink, kind of like a tampon. I know that's gross, but that's the way that the owner of the shop explained it to me. So you just stick this in the ink well, and then it just, you can see the ink absorb all the way up to the top, and then you get a really nice flow of ink from the get-go. So the one gripe that I have with the Lumos pen is that the ink, the black ink that I have, which is the pigment ink, tends to not be super dark on MD paper or Tomoe River paper. So that was kind of a bigger hiccup for me, so I don't reach for this all the time. I was really happy though when I was gifted this pen from Tom Studio, and this one is called the Wren. I got it in black because it's either black or brass or gold color for me or nothing. So this pen is so nice. It's heralded as a writing pen, but what I found is that this tip actually ends up being just like the Tombow Fudenosuke, which is great because I love that pen. It is one of my favorite pens, especially when I was hand lettering a lot and doing brush calligraphy. But this one's so nice for illustrations, and I also love just using it for doodles in my traveler's notebook, or if I'm doing hand lettering. And if I'm going to be doing a larger amount of inking illustrations, I will reach for this pen. The ink flow ends up being so nice. It's a little bit on the thicker side, so it's, if you're not familiar with the Tombow Fudenosuke, it's kind of like a sign pen where it's a felt tip type of feel, but the felt tip on this is actually not felt. It's a Japanese tip, which ends up being a lot more durable than a felt tip pen, so you don't get that fraying stuff that happens with felt tips. And it fills up the same way as the Lumos pen, where it has the cotton core here. Come on, There it is. And then it has replaceable nibs as well. And it's just so great because this pen will literally last me my whole life if I choose to let it. And I can buy replacement cotton cores and replacement nibs, but then always have this body, which this is also aluminum, anodized aluminum. Super nice. Awesome that it's a pocket pen. If you can't tell, I love pocket pens, and I'll get to this in a second. But yeah, just really loving how I can uncap it really easily. There's no screwing mechanism. You just uncap it and then post it. And then once it's posted, it's like the perfect length to be able to draw, write, illustrate, whatever you really need it for. I'm loving this pen so much, and I use it with the pigment ink from Tom's Studio as well. And this pen was so well received in my household that my 8-year-old son actually decided to use his allowance money to buy one of these himself, and he has his name engraved on it, and he loves it so much. So we're happy to have these pens in our house and help reduce our carbon footprint just even by a little bit. The other thing that's great about Tom's Studio is that any time you buy something from Tom's, which is in the UK, they will send you everything in just really awesomely sustainable packaging, fully paper packaging from head to toe. Everything is so thought out, and their company is just really has a great eye for detail. I just love the minimalist designs, the high quality of the products, and the fact that everything is replaceable in terms of the working parts. So these bodies, these pen barrels could last me for the rest of my life if I really wanted them to. I haven't played with color yet because, guys, I'm a minimalist. I'm like not super great with color in general. Even for being an artist, I prefer black and white stuff. So really loving this in the black ink, but of course they have a whole line of beautiful inks on their website, or you can use any non-shimmer, make sure you catch that, non-shimmer fountain pen inks. If you use any shimmer inks, it can get clogged up in the mechanism. And if you use any permanent ink, which I also did by accident, it will clog things up. So just make sure that you're using water-based fountain pen ink or their pigment ink directly from their website, and just make sure you do your research before putting in another ink. You can save 10% with my code. I love Tom's Studio so much that I ended up applying to be affiliate with them, and then they gifted me the Wren pen. Just super happy with their products and really grateful to have especially this Wren pen as part of my minimalist carry. Moving on, I have a sticker tweezer because, you know, it's not necessary, but it makes it so much easier, especially if your nails are doing funky things with like a new manicure or something. You don't have to worry about it. So I like this black one that I got. I think it's just from Amazon, but I'll link it. And then coming down to the last part of my carry, don't mind all those pencil marks there, is the Kaweco Brass Sport fountain pen. I had one fountain pen before this. It was the Kaweco Sport, and it was in a limited edition color. I fell in love with it so fast that I knew that I wanted to invest in the Brass Sport because I wanted something that felt like it was going to be with me forever. This is so nicely weighted. I love it so much. I ended up buying it in the extra fine, and then I also upgraded the nib to the gold nib just because I really like how that looks. I have the gold clip on it as well, gold everything. I'm bummed that the finial is silver, but it's just fine and it stands out and it is its own thing. But this is the pen that I use every day in my traveler's notebook. I don't really deviate from that. The only time I will is to make gold accents in my traveler's notebook, which I have another ink for that, which is the Ferris Wheel Press Magnificent Maple Syrup. And I think I've talked about that before, I can't remember, but yeah. And inside here, sorry about the squeaking, is the refillable converter, which is okay. Sometimes if I drop the pen, it will fall out, so I'll have to open it up and make sure it's in there. And I don't actually use the piston mechanism. I just use a syringe filler to be able to refill this pen. And yeah, just super in love with this pen. I probably should take better care of it than I do. I know you're supposed to wash it like once a week. I probably wash it once a month. But yeah, just really love this pen. I love putting it in my pocket. I have a thing for pocket pens, if you can't tell. And here's just to get a good size comparison of the Tom Studio Wren and the Kaweco Brass Sport. So yeah, if I have the whole kit going with the Yuruliku, I will put everything back in. Otherwise, if I'm really trying to travel light, I will travel with these 3 things. And it works out really well. I can just throw them in my backpack and reach for them when I need them. If I'm traveling super duper light and I'm feeling confident that I won't need to use a pencil, I will just travel with these 2. So very, very happy with these. So that is everything in my minimalist pen case. Again, I'm just gonna kind of pull these out separately because these are the ones that I use all the time. All right, so I hope this video was helpful if you're thinking about how to get away with the bare minimum for pens and writing supplies for your traveler's notebook or whatever journal or planner that you're using. You absolutely don't have to use a fountain pen. You don't have to use an illustration pen, etc. But if you were to choose high quality luxury items that are also sustainable and are going to last you a long time, I so recommend these products, and I stand by the companies because I believe in their mission, I believe in how they do things, and the quality of their products is unparalleled. So hope you found this video helpful and enjoyable. I will talk to you next time.